I love you, but if you're a black man and you only date white women, you might hate yourself or your mom or a combination of both. I don't know.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, let me introduce this week's very special guest, Jordan. She's the lead marketing director for Chicago's biggest art show, a blog writer, my best friend, and most important for today's conversation, a biracial baddie with a just as beautiful mom with blonde hair and blue eyes. Y'all know that song, like, she's a biracial girl?
I didn't until
yeah, so it's like, and then the guy, he has a whole album
right
of like exotic, it says big girl version 1, big girls 2, like whatever. But today we're focusing on the biracial.
Right.
But the whole album, if you're interested in Sir Man, I forgot his name, is called Women of Color.
Women of Color.
But anyway, we got our biracial girl here today. Anything you want to add to my little introduction? I think I did a really good
You
job.
did do an excellent. I don't really have anything to add right now, but I have a lot to add as we keep going. So let's get into it.
Period. Okay, so I feel like people glamorize what it's like to, like the whole like idea of being biracial or having biracial kids as like this cute, exotic experience. Do you think it's worth the hype?
Do I think it's worth the hype? I mean, from my personal experience, like, I don't think that I have gone through life like feeling like that was my experience of like being hyped up, or like I felt like my mom had me to be an aesthetic or be like, you know, part of a trend or like stuff like that, which, you know, I do say the Kardashians maybe, you know, had a little bit of that motivation behind having their children. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that it's just, I don't know how to answer that question.
So do you think like, so overall, like you just categorize yourself as black? Like if I was to be like, oh, Jordan, I'm doing a project on like the backgrounds of all my friends, you would be like, oh, I'm black?
I do identify as a black woman, but I am not naive to the fact that I am technically biracial. But that's just not how like I present or carry myself. It's not something that I lead with when I meet people or like make it a point to make as part of my identity, if that makes sense. Like, this is my mom, this is my dad, but me, myself, when we're talking about Jordan Page Messenger, I go through life as a black woman.
Now, I have been watching This Is Us. I know you like that show. I still haven't finished it. I'm always, anybody who knows like any type of show that like was actually on TV and popular, I'm always late. Now, if it's like a Netflix series or something like Adolescence and stuff, like I seen that, I watched that. But like on TV shows, I'm always late. But there was this scene that I recently watched where he was like hesitated to introduce his dad, like he's black, but he hesitated to introduce his dad who's white. Did you ever feel like that with like your mom and being like, oh, I'm kind of...
Not because she was white, but because just how my mom looks in general and the attention that I saw her get growing up. She is, you know, she looks a lot younger than she is. She presents herself very young. And growing up, I always saw her getting a lot of attention. And, you know, throughout the years, I think I did start to associate, oh, maybe she's getting this attention because she's a pretty white woman, especially growing up in Minnesota. Like, I saw a lot of Black men of all walks of life giving her attention, pining after her, you know, wanting to speak to her. And so So it was never the fact of like, I'm ashamed or embarrassed or just don't want people to know that my mom is white. It was more so the fact of like, I know the attention that comes with her being my mom. And sometimes that for me caused me to feel a way about myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And feel a way because you weren't like blonde hair and blue eyed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just, when I would see her getting the attention and, people speaking on her looks and referencing how beautiful she is and things like that, it's like, well, we look nothing alike. So am I beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you weren't ashamed the fact that you have a parent that is white, which kind of like was what they were alluding to in the show. It's more so like, I don't like the fact that just because she actually is white and I'm not, she's going to get a certain level of attention.
Right.
And like, it's nothing that like I could do about that because that's how society is structured. How do you think that impacted like your relationship with your mom? And like, even just thinking about it, I'm sure it was probably hard for her because there's also nothing that she can do about it either.
Right.
And like you said, I don't perceive your mom to be one of the people who was fetishizing and was like, "Oh, I want a biracial child." Like that's never been the impression that I've gotten of your mom. So it probably made it even harder because she actually does care.
Right. Yeah. It definitely caused some strain at one point because I definitely think I had some misplaced feelings of projection or anger or maybe even like a little bit of confusion just of like why that was our experience and feeling like, I know it caused some strain at one point. We have worked through it. We actually, went to therapy together, and that was one of the things that we talked about and that we focused on, because going through therapy on my own, I realized that it was kind of a cause of some of the anger I had towards her. But because I'm able to justify it of like, it's not her fault and there's nothing she can do about it, it just was coming out in such a weird, unhealthy way. But yeah, at some point it was a thing. I remember we got in a big fight about it once and I moved out for a little bit, and it was a big thing at one point, but she's really receptive to the things that I have to say, and she's really receptive to my experience, and that makes a huge difference in how we're able to communicate and move forward.
I think like anybody listening who dates outside of their race in general, like I feel like that's such a big takeaway of like, there's no issue if you date outside your race and a person that you fall in love with or have a kid with is different than you, but it's more so like, how do you approach that situation after the fact, and to handle it with care and to understand that like your existence in itself may sometimes hurt your child's feelings. Like that is such a heavy thing to deal with, and like, do you feel like you're equipped to deal with that? Like some people may be and some people may not be, and that's not bad or good. It's just the fact of the matter is like, that's a heavy thing to be like, sometimes my child may be hurt by my existence, even though I would do anything to make them feel better about themselves. So I think that's something like people really need to think about before it's a lot of things people don't think about before they have kids or before they get married. And it's like, if you do end up falling in love with somebody who's not your race, how important is it that you have kids? And if it's important, just preparing yourselves for those conversations. Just as if like, you know how we do the genetics test to see like, what's the likelihood of the kid, certain health things problems, like between me and my partner, like genetic stuff. It's the same thing. Like, how can you prepare for a scenario like that? So yeah, that's like my take on it. So I know that you grew up with your mom, your dad, like you had a relationship with your dad's side of the family,
Right.
but you wasn't really in constant contact with your dad.
Right.
How do you feel like growing up would have been different had like either your parents been together or your dad been more present in your upbringing?
Oh, it's hard to say, but I would say, I mean, it probably would have impacted me in other areas more than like my identity. I think it definitely would have, kind of changed the way that I dealt with relationships, and maybe changed my experience because my dad wasn't there, and I also didn't really have the proximity to his family that I would have liked because they were all located on the east side or the East Coast, in Jersey, and I was in Minnesota. I just didn't also like have that proximity to a constant Black family. So I had to be more intentional about putting myself in Black spaces. My mom had to be intentional about sending me out there to visit them and putting me in Black spaces. And so I think if he were around, kind of having that constant and that proximity would have maybe helped me develop my sense of identity maybe a little earlier than I did. Yeah. That's as far into that thought as I got.
Yeah. And I feel like for some people, but it just goes down to like your mom being intentional with how she raised you. Because for some people, it's like not having the Black parent around makes such a big difference in how they grow up and like their perception of even who they are as a person.
Right.
And like how they identify. Do you feel like, because like you said, like you almost felt like you didn't get privileges because you were seeing what privileges your mom got. So you didn't feel like, oh, because I'm biracial, you had like privileges that somebody else might not?
I think that privileges that I may have experienced are not solely tied to being biracial. I think they're because I'm pretty. And I think that is not exclusive to being biracial.
Okay. I want to talk about that because people think, oh, I have this I'm a have me a biracial child. My child gonna be so cute. I've literally heard people say it out their mouth.
Heard it too. Yeah.
No, and I'm not going to say no names in nothing. But I know people in real life who are biracial. They're not cute. And I don't think that they experience any type of privilege.
I think if we're going to talk about privilege, it's pretty privilege. And then, I mean, we can talk about colorism.
Yeah, colorism. But it's like not all biracial people are even light skinned. On Love is Blind, did you see this past season?
I didn't.
Okay, so in this past season, it's a Black dude. He's light skinned, but he has a brother. They got the same parents. His brother is dark skinned.
You never know, honestly.
The mom is white and the dad is Black. Him and his sister is light skinned. The brother, not caramel, I'm talking about like he's brown. He's a brown man. So you don't know, like I would never look at the brother out if it was just him in person and be like, he's biracial.
Right. And I've gotten that too. So when we talk about, my experience, like I can't tell you the amount of times that I would be out with my mom when I was younger and be asked if I was adopted. Because people, I think that, people don't always initially look at me and think that I am biracial. I think that because I don't have some of the physical attributes that society has just kind of started to associate with being biracial, light eyes, long curly hair, like, and like super light skin. Like in the summer, your girl is brown. Like I tan really easily. So I think that is a part of it too, of just like my experience and like of how you never know. Like
you don't know how your child could come out looking very white. They could come out looking very Black. They could come out looking in the middle. Like you said, you don't know what is going to happen when you have that baby. So if you having the child for a fetish, don't. Not gonna come out right. Like when you think about Kim's kids are cute because Kim and Kanye are attractive people.
Right.
They are attractive. And Kim, I know she's had work done and all that, but Kim was gorgeous at 14. Okay, like she was gorgeous at 14. You can't tell me nothing. So it's like, I didn't even mean to do that little Kanye can't tell me nothing, Kim, ha ha ha. But I did it. That was by accident. I'm just a natural. But yeah, like the kids is cute because they were bound to be cute.
And I'm cute because my parents was cute.
Yeah, like it's not because they biracial.
Right, exactly.
It has nothing to do with them being biracial. It's just they're cute. They had bi-attractive parents. Like both of your parents was attractive in different ways that mixed together really well.
Right.
So yeah, I agree with that. Now, so basically, I feel like we both kind of agree. Colorism is really the bigger conversation.
Yeah.
And the biracial thing is like how people perceive biracialness versus what actually is. Because a lot of people are biracial who aren't getting the biracial privileges.
Right.
Like you only get biracial privileges if you outwardly look biracial.
Right.
Yeah. For identity, do you ever feel conflicted with your identity? Like, because you have white family, you have black family, that you know both of them and grew up with them?
No, not anymore. I did growing up for sure. That was, something that I had to experience and figure out on my own. I think that, I fortunately was placed in spaces and had experiences that I felt I was able to do so safely and freely, identify, myself for myself and not let other people do it for me. Because in my primary formative years, I went to a private school where there was 12 Black kids on the whole campus. And then all of a sudden I moved to a completely different neighborhood and going to public school that was very diverse. And my mom, again, was putting me in spaces and hobbies and activities and things where I got to meet other people and figure out for myself what my identity was. And it took some time. I would say like high school was when I was kind of solidifying that. But now as a 28-year-old woman, I know who I am and you can't tell me otherwise.
Period. I love that. And do you think then, like, as far as identity, it's up to each individual to define their own identity? Or do you think that society should have an influence on how you identify? Because, like, I think about the Dave Chappelle clip where he ain't know that he was Black and he was in the KKK because he was blind. So he didn't know he was Black. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
This is an iconic clip. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to show you after. It is hilarious. Like, I'm going to have to ask other people if they know the clip too. Everybody in my family and like people I talk to know the clip, but like he basically didn't know he was blind. So he didn't know he was Black. So he was in the KKK and all that. He was
Lord.
Saying the N-word and all that. I don't want to get censored, but yeah, like he's saying the N-word, like, and then they was like cheering at him and stuff like that because he's saying all the right things. And then when somebody finally said, like, you're Black, he was like, no, I'm not. Like, what? So it's like, who really defines identity for real?
I mean, I personally think it is up to the individual. Now, I think as long as it's not hurting anybody, but also it's like society is still going to try to have some sort of influence or try to tell you something about your identity. But I think if you've done the self-reflection and you've done the self-work and you genuinely have decided for yourself who you are at your core, nobody can tell you otherwise. And I think that identity is a very personal reflection of who you are and how you want to carry yourself in this world. And I think that if you let other people or society try to influence you, you can get very lost. You can get very confused, and that can be lonely.
Yeah, that's true. I think like the other thing I was thinking about is like, for people of color, regardless if you're white, black, or not white, but like Asian, black, whatever, there's such a spectrum,
right,
of everything, and a lot of it is culture based.
Yeah.
But we all have such different cultures too. So like, I know there was commentary online about Issa Rae and oh, why did she fund this movie, or some type of skit that was about like a poor Black experience.
Okay.
And they're like, well, Issa Rae didn't come from that. Why did she fund that work? Like, she doesn't know anything about that experience. Like, almost saying like she's not Black enough because she had like a middle class upbringing. And it's like, the Black experience, or any groups of people experience, shouldn't be defined by poverty or one thing. It can mean so many different things. Like, and there's a certain, like, I think when it comes to like, if I was to ask someone like, were you raised Black? Like, what questions would I ask? I'd be like, do you use a rag, like a washcloth, to wipe your ass? Like, how do you clean your booty cheeks?
Right.
That would probably be the first question that I ask. Like, how do you clean it? And are there some white people who use it to clean their butt? Sure, I'm sure. But a lot don't. You go to the house and you don't see them. You have to bring your own. Yeah, so it's like that. But that's regardless if you're middle class, upper class, or whatever. Like, there's certain like cultural things that unite everyone, and I think like that's what I think about when I think about identity. And I think society has shifted it to like making identity what they see you as versus what actually is cultural. Yeah, and it's like the erasure of culture almost. And that's not just even with, like I said, like I think that same thing, like Filipinos have such a strong culture. Yeah. But then like right now people are associating it with like the passport bros going over to the Philippines and stuff. But it's like Filipino culture is very strong. Vietnamese culture is very strong. Like a lot of cultures are so strong, and it's like because we're limiting it to whatever we see on is represented on TV and in society of each of these races, it limits how people can identify. Because like if all I see on TV of Black people is shooting and fighting and stuff, and I'm ashamed, I might choose that I'm mixed. And I'm not Black, I'm mixed. Like my grandma, I loved her, and like no disrespect, but like she used to be like, I'm not Black, I'm colored. And it's like the distancing yourself from this culture where we only see a negative representation without even understanding like, yes, maybe there are a subset of Black people who are engaging in these things, but there's a why behind it too. It's not like they were born and like Black people are born to be more violent or aggressive. Like there's a why, and it's on purpose. So that's a whole other conversation. Exactly. But yeah, I think like, I don't know. It's just like identity is almost like being erased by society, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think society likes to place people in a box.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't fit exactly within the box that they've created, you don't make sense to them. And they try to force you into one category or another. And I think that's why it is also a personal thing, because when you're secure and sure of your culture and your identity and your experiences, you can't let they can't put you in a box.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the identity, or I'm sorry, the like cultural aspect is important, because like I grew up practicing Native American cultural experiences and practices. Like,
yeah, me too.
I, very much,
some of them,
again, I had the exposure to Black culture by putting myself in those spaces, because it wasn't readily available to me in my home.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's definitely like there are cultural references I don't know, and that I
like the Dave Chappelle
like
thing. That's a perfect example. Yeah, like I know that growing up
that I don't know, because I had to be intentional about getting those experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And there, are just certain things that come and certain things that don't.
Yeah. Do you think that, like, so given that people are shifting in a world of interracial mixing with kids and who they date, do you think that a Black man, like we said in the beginning of the episode, like only dating white women, do you think that that's right? Like, what's your stance on those types of relationships? Because it's how you were made. It's why you're sitting here right now.
Right. I think it's important to emphasize they only date Black or white women. And I think it's also important to know their why. What is the why and the root to why that's your preference? Because in my mind, I initially think one of three things. They have issues with their mom. They have internalized self-image issues or self-hate, or they have bought into what society says, like white is right, or white is associated with power, success, money, that it's just better than. And I think some Black men that date only white women are using that proximity to make themselves feel better about themselves.
Yeah. And like elevate themselves in what they think people will perceive of them by dating white or Asian or whatever the case, like non-Black or like a specific kind of Black woman.
That's just deemed more acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the why, to your point, is so important too, because there are a set of Black men that like maybe they're in quotes nerdy and like certain types of things where it's like it may be harder to find a Black woman who has overlapping interests. It wouldn't be impossible, but harder. I'm not mad at that, like, because okay, like, is it so important that the woman has to be Black that you're gonna go your whole life just searching for that Black woman who would have that in common?
Right.
No. Now, if you came across it, if you would be equally open to all races, then I don't have a problem with the fact of like there was just more white or Asian women available that had like overlapping interests as you. And I also think it's important to assess, like, does this person still have a positive and strong identity with being a Black man? Like, is he is he proud? Does he identify with like the parts of Black culture that his parents identified with or like taught him that were positive? Like, if that person has all of those things, then I'm like, I don't really have a problem with that. But a lot of the times, like, I worked with teenage girls for a nonprofit, and one of the things that they told me, like, some of the ones that were darker skinned, was that, like, they would get made fun of for being dark skinned. And this is, we're in 2025, right? Like, so I didn't realize this stuff was still going on in high schools, because it just seems ridiculous that it is. But like, they would get made fun of for being dark skinned, and then the guy himself would be dark skinned and his mama would be dark skinned. Yeah. But they would call her ugly because she's not light. In 2025. Yeah, it's just to the point where, like, there's girls going to get skin lightening cream because they're getting made fun of. Like, they said that they were looking for skin lightening cream at some points before they went into the nonprofits program to get their confidence up as a woman of color. But like, that's so crazy to me. You don't like your mom, to the point that we was making earlier. Right. You don't like your mom. Right. Because your mom is dark skinned, and you're telling this woman that she's ugly simply for the fact that she's dark skinned. Right. And granted, like, not to be a mean person, but some people don't look good regardless of what color they are. But she actually was a cute little girl. Yeah. Like, I would never be like, he's just saying this because you dark, but you also just don't look right. No, it wasn't. That's not the case. None of the women, the little girls who have shared these things with me, were in that category. There were little girls where I'd be like, you're a cute little girl. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with you. And not even, like, I'm an uplifting person, but I'm not unrealistic. Right. I'm not going to lie to you to make you feel good, because that's not helping you. I might not say it, but especially to a little girl, but I wouldn't lie. Because at the end of the day, society's going to treat you the way they treat you. So if I'm lying and saying that you're a cute little girl and you're not, like, that's not helping you, in my opinion. Because that's trust issues too. You're going to see what society normally thinks is pretty, and you're going to look at yourself and you're going to know I was fucking lying to you. Like, you're going to know. You're going to know. So, like, then that's trust issues, because then, like, you don't want somebody lying to you, like, and being like, oh yeah, whatever. You're not you're cute. You're a cute little girl. And then you keep seeing stuff of what cute is, and you looking, and you're like, I do not match that. Like, then you're going to be like, I'm not going to India for advice. She's a liar. Because she's going to just tell me I look cute regardless. Or like, if you had a bad outfit on and I didn't say what I thought, why you would never ask me for outfit advice again? Right. Why would you do that? Right. Because I'm gonna lie. So I don't know. It's self-hate to me. There was this influencer. He cooks, and he was like a lawyer at the same time. And at first, like, his little videos would be like, oh, I don't just make the typical black dishes, like, I make Asian dishes and stuff like that. Like, I'm not just making macaroni and cheese and da. Okay. And then I think he started to notice that, like, the black shit was popular. It was during the time of oxtail. Okay. The oxtail craze. So then he found himself making an oxtail, whatever, playing into it. And somebody brought up these old tweets of his black ass talking about black women, literally putting up pictures like, oh, she's not cute, she's ugly, then putting a white woman or like a skinnier woman or something. That's my problem right like, there. It's when you can't have your preference or hype up your preference without bringing me down in the process. Yeah, like, because you could be like, oh, I think this white woman is attractive. Okay, great. Yeah, good for you. Whoever. But why does it have to be in comparison to a black woman? And that's what he was doing in these old tweets. And his now wife, it was fiance at the time, is chubby Aquafina, basically. That's it. Yeah. So if you looked at her, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's chubby Aquafina. Okay. Yeah. So that's who he go with. And he says, obviously, like, oh, I've changed. I was in a bad spot. I was an alcoholic. But it's like, what made you even if you really was an alcoholic, what made you hate Black women so much
right.
in that point of rage,
Right.
unless you hate yourself and you hate your mom.
Right. Because otherwise, what do I have to do with any of it?
Yeah, you could not want to date Black women. Like you said, your preference is your preference.
But it's the why to your preference and how you go about it.
And how you went about it, and
your
you was putting these tweets.
That's a problem.
And degrading Black women and stuff like that.
Right.
And
leave me out of it.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like, why was that what you was doing when you was drunk? Unless some of that inner stuff was like,
the truth was just coming out.
Oh my God, my mom, she was a single mom because she ain't fuck my dad right, and I wish she would have because I wanted my daddy around. Or she didn't keep her mouth shut. I wanted my daddy around, and I couldn't have him around because of her Black ass.
Yeah.
Yep. And my dad didn't want to send him around because I'm not good enough either. You know, like, go to therapy and work that shit out. That'd be my thing. Like,
right. Don't make that everybody else's problem.
And I don't know, like, I don't have any Black male friends that are in that category.
Yeah.
Of I have Black male friends that have dated white women. And again, I don't have no problem with that. But as far as like only that's what they would only date, I don't even have those people around to be like, why or to challenge or be like anything.
Yeah.
But what I just know that I'm right. I just know that I'm right. You know what I mean? But if anybody listens to this, they got their feelings hurt and you want to, challenge me, I would love to talk to you. DM I Love You But Podcast, ILY But Podcast on Instagram. I love to talk to you. I have a real open and honest conversation with you. I won't be mean. I'm not going to attack you unless you disrespect me. Then then I'm popping off. But as long as you don't disrespect me. So also, so the little Black men don't feel bullied.
Right.
Candace Owens, she's dark skinned and she has. You told me you ain't know who she was before this.
I don't know.
So she is like in politics. Like her and Kanye wore the like White Lives Matter shirts together. She has a podcast. She has like a following. She talks bad about Cardi B because Cardi B's ratchet, like that kind of person. Okay. She has a white husband and mixed kids.
Okay.
And is like a avid like Trump supporter, but like far right Black woman. Why? Like, why
do she got daddy issues?
Right, because she's dark too. Like she's not. Cause you Google her, right?
I did, yeah. But
like she's dark.
I know what she looks like, but I think the same goes. Honestly, they either been hurt by a Black man and they don't trust them.
Yeah.
Or and usually it's their father. That's the first Black man to hurt. Or the proximity thing again of like, well, I think white is superior, so I'm gonna insert myself in those spaces and say these things that I think they're gonna agree with so that they can deem me as acceptable.
I think it's like all about, like you said, being deemed as acceptable and not wanting to associate yourself with the Cardi B's of society, with the Cardi B's of the Blackness, because it's negative and bad and wrong to be, in quotes, ratchet or ghetto or whatever. Like, I remember when the WAP song came out, it was like she made all these nasty comments about it and stuff like that. And it was a big thing in the far right community of making like, oh my God, that's not even right for your vagina to be that wet. You would have a yeast infection.
Oh my God.
And like they was having whole think pieces on the song.
It's not that deep.
And it was that deep for them. So it's like, I think so that you don't ever get lumped in that category or be associated with that, you try to go all the way to the other end. But it's like, again, it goes back to the security with yourself, because for me, I'm not Cardi B, but I wouldn't have a fear of being associated with her because I'm confident in who I am. And I wouldn't mind if I was associated with her because.
But that, again, she does not define me. We are two different
me and
people
her, two different
with
people,
two different experiences and two different
and
lives.
I love her experience, and I'm like a very big Cardi B fan, as people will come to know. So like whatever, but I'm not ashamed to say that, because if you want to lump me and say, oh, India, you and her are the same, then you don't really want to know me anyway. Right.
And you're hell bent on putting all of us in a box.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, but if you feel like so struck by people existing in the way that they exist that you have to do so much to like separate yourself, you're not secure in your own existence in itself.
And you think that the Black experience is universal, and it's not.
It's not, and it's not. There's no better or worse in it either.
Right.
Now I feel like we didn't just pick on the men. I threw a little Candace Owens in there.
Right.
I picked on her a little bit. Zendaya. I throw her in there because she still go with Tom Holland.
They're engaged.
They're engaged. Yeah, I thought I heard that. But I feel like that was just bound to happen because just who she's normally around, and like
access is another factor of it for sure.
Yeah, like access, and like that's the person who like she did the Spider-Man movie with and all that. Like I don't think Zendaya has like a self-hate problem.
Yeah.
Even if she, regardless of the Tom Holland thing, other things about her, it's just like people fetishize her for being light-skinned and being racially ambiguous and all that. So people do that to her, and thin. She's so thin. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, because some people do, but like she's just the perfect Black. And that's what I fear like everyone's trying to strive towards, is like being the perfect Black, like a Candace Owens. Like, oh, I can't do it the way Zendaya does it because I'm not light skinned. I don't fit that mold. Yeah. But I could do it by being conservative. But I'm gonna do it by any means possible. Right. O.J. Simpson did it by being really good at football. That's how he did it. And then he gonna kill the white bitch anyway. God rest her soul. And whatever the guy's name was that did it with her. But it God knows who I'm talking about. So God bless him too. And I hope he's resting very peacefully. But yeah, like everybody has a different way that they try to do it. But it all comes back to like you want to be the good kind of Black.
Yeah.
Which means, like I said, like you don't really even, you're not secure in your own identity if you feel like there's a good kind of or like bad kind of Black.
Right.
We talked about Kanye a lot. Do you think that Kanye is one of the people who hates himself because he has traditionally in recent times, ever since his mama died, he's been with white women. But before his mama died, he had Amber Rose, and it was that other Black girl that he was with. I forget that first one before Amber Rose. And she was like not light skinned like Amber. She wasn't dark, but she wasn't light skinned. And then like after that, he just progressively got lighter until his mama died. Then he went with the white people.
Right.
So it's like I don't know if I have a strong read on Kanye either.
I think there's definitely a lot of intersections when it comes to him and his experience. I think that he is really broken, and I think that he's mentally ill. And I think that another thing could be that Black women or white women just let him get away with more. I think that he knows a Black woman is going to make him hold himself accountable. Because he remember his mom.
He know his mom.
They're going to hold him accountable and want him to make better, smarter decisions and maybe even get help. And he just doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to do it. And I think the other thing about Kanye, too, is like, I think he's fucking mad at his mom for dying. I think he's mad.
It's possible.
I think you're mad because like that, his mama was his whole world, and you died getting liposuction. Like,
I did not know what
you didn't know.
I didn't know that,
girl. Yes.
Oh,
she died.
But then you get with the BBL. Huh.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's mad at his mama for dying.
That's a really good point. I had never considered.
And I don't know if he's ever said that. I don't know if he's ever said it or alluded to it, but that's what I think. He's mad because that you left me and like I'm your whole world and you my whole world, and you left getting a liposuction.
Yeah, that would cause a lot of anger.
Yeah, I don't even think he thinks about it like that though. Right. If you asked him, I don't think he would say he's mad at his mom for dying. No. But I really think like deep rooted he is.
Which is why maybe he should seek some therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a Kanye fan, but also I don't agree with everything. Yeah. But yeah.
It's at some point you can't just continue to say and do things and think there aren't going to be any consequences.
Especially with like who you are and like how much influence you have.
Exactly.
And I don't think his intention is always to like spew hate, but like sometimes what you do, you're doing it because you're saying, fuck, I don't care about phrasing things a perfect way, but I'm gonna phrase it that way anyway. But that's like a whole other conversation.
Right.
Okay, so basically our biracial girl says that if you want to date outside your race, you can, but you better be doing some research. You better know you might have an uphill battle with your child. You're going to have to put in a lot of work, but you could do it. And you better make sure that you're not doing it because you hate yourself. Because if you do, you need to go get help. You need to go get therapy.
Yeah.
You need to like, when you decide like, oh, I really like this person outside my race, you need to probably go to therapy just to make sure you for real.
Yeah. And figure out your why and figure out how that is going to affect things down the line and how you're going to go about that and how it's going to be presented and how it's going to be cared for. Because it's not just a simple, although they may want it to be, it's not just as simple as, oh, I like him, he likes me, let's get married and do this thing. Like, there's a lot more things to consider. And I think that being intentional about how you carry that in the world and how you present and still identify for yourself is important as well. Don't get lost in the sauce.
Period. As said by a biracial queen. Next episode, you can expect to hear like stuff about TikTok psychologists, a Hooters server, a bunch of other stuff. We got some stuff coming, so stay tuned. Like, subscribe, follow. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at ILY But Podcast. And I love you, but you may need to go to therapy. Crazy, but it's true. Bye, y'all.